Hi there, would you like to know how to make sounds like this? And also sounds like this? Then welcome to my tutorial on psychedelic glitch effects in Logic. My name's Merkäta and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you two different methods of making psychedelic glitch effects. The first one will synthesize a sound in Serum and then use post-processing to get that real glitchy sound that we're looking for. The second effect will take an audio sample and then we'll put it through Logic's sampler. After that, we'll modulate the sound with Logic's inbuilt arpeggiator and modulator to get that real glitchy sound that we're looking for. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so here we have a tune that I made. I'll just quickly play it for you. Just a couple of drums here, just building up. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to load up our VST, which is Serum. It's a little bit loud, so I'm going to bring the master down. We're in the key of E. So I'm playing the note E on my keyboard, which you can see down here. We're going to come into the wavetable and we're going to draw a square wave. It's not the most interesting sound in the world, but when you come over to the filter and you add a band past 24 and turn it on, what you get is when you modulate the cutoff, you get this pretty cool sound. Now, I always find it's better to have it lower because you get more of a grain sound. Bring up the drive, bring up the fat, maybe bring up the resonance a bit, and then you get this sound. Now, I personally love that. I think it sounds absolutely great. It's already cool sounding as it is. But we're going to add some effects. So we're going to add a flanger. We're going to add a phaser. Not much though, like a little bit too much, and it starts getting a bit overbearing. Similarly with chorus. Don't want too much chorus on there. Let's see what that sounds like. Just add some interest to the sound. The big ones, delay, ping pong, surely. Yeah, we love a bit of ping pong, don't we? Reverb. What I'll do with the ping pong is I'll just EQ it so it's just like the high sides of the sound. Reverb will bring up a low cut and then bring it fairly low in the mix. We don't really want too much of it. I'm also going to add an EQ on it, which is just going to cut out the low frequencies again. It's just a little bit too much. We don't really need them. We're looking for those higher sounds really. That's already getting really close to the sound that I'm looking for. Whack a compressor on it. OTT, stereo compressor, multiband. Nah, not multiband. I don't like that as much. Okay, and then to add an extra layer, we can bring in this second oscillator. We're going to turn it down, and then we're going to use some FM synthesis on it. Right. So what we're doing here is I'm going to put an LFO on the FM, bring it down, so we're bringing it up to that point where I started hearing the sound changing, and then I'm going to do it over a bar. So as it gets up, it starts getting quite interesting towards then. It's only really subtle, but it still adds a good texture to the sound. Then as I'm then changing the cutoff, cool, I really like that sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the track over here to touch so that everything that I do in Serum is then recorded. So record is enabled, we can see that here, and let's go. What we're going to do now is look at how we make an audio sample into a glitch effect. So I wanted to find a good audio sample that we could make into a glitch effect, so I found this one. What you really want when choosing a sample, especially when we're putting it into the sampler, is to get something that's got quite a good dynamic range. This means that the sampler is able to pick up more of the different frequencies and stuff that's going on, and so you're able to get a more diverse and interesting sound. Okay, so what we want to do is you want to highlight the audio and then double click and then convert to new sampler track. Great, then you can name it what you want. So old man noises, let's say that, sampler. Great, so that started here. You can see obviously I've done that before. Then what we want to do is you want to take out all the space between the bottom and the top noises. So we don't want everything in between. And then you want to take these and you want to pull them out to their fullest, like so. And then you want to fill up every space in between with what they have. So there we go. Okay, so then everything's in there. So if we go into the sampler and we open up mapping, which we want to turn on, you can see they're mapped across the keyboard, which is lovely. So now we're going to go into our MIDI effects and we're going to grab an arpeggiator and we're going to set it to 1/16, which it is set at already. And then you can go into options and then turn the note length down. And let's have a listen to how that sounds. So that is now bouncing between the notes inside the sampler. Let's turn the random up. Great. And you can change these to your personal preference depending on what the vocal sample is like, and you can start changing to the note order as well. So I quite like up and down. You can change the variation as well. I also think randomizing the note order is really good. For this track in particular, I think a bit of swing. Okay, so if we play that with everything else. Okay, that's already sounding really cool. Let's go in and play with the sampler a bit more and we'll start with the filter. Okay, we're back inside the sampler, so we're going to turn on filter 1 and then we're going to turn it to band pass. I really like creamy, but you can change whatever you want here. Then you can hear the sounds a bit weird, and as it cuts off, it's going to change that. Then we're going to control it with LFO1, which will change the shape to random. And so how we do that is we go into the mod matrix. So LFO1 in the mod matrix is then going to target filter 1 cutoff. There we go. Then you change the amount. Then over here on the right you have via. It's being used via mod wheel, which is really fun. You can do that on a keyboard if you want, but we're going to change it to none, which is up here. And we change the parameters. Then once we change that, there is another creative way of doing this though that adds even more variation, and that is by adding a MIDI modulator. This makes the patterns really quirky and interesting, so let's add that on and let's see how that sounds. Okay, so a really cool thing that we're going to do now is we're going to add a modulator, and we are going to modulate the pitch. So the way to do that is go into here, change mod wheel, and you go to learn plugin parameter. So from learn plugins parameter, we're going to go to tune, and then you can see it is literally jumping all over the place. Which is really cool. And then you can change the way that it's doing it. You can do it to random. The rate, I would change it up to 16. And you can play with the way that it's doing this, the offset of it. I think something like that. Now, everyone's favourite, let's add some reverb and delay. So, super simple, I'm going to add a chroma reverb. That's a little bit too much for me, so let's change the wet down to that. Very nice. That sounds pretty cool. And then a delay, get a stereo delay in there. Put it onto 4, whack it down each side pretty low. Change it up to your choice. I'll bring the low cut in again, because we all know that I love a low cut. Wicked. Then in the tune it sounds like this. So I'm really happy with the sound that we've made out of this audio clip and the sampler and then the arpeggiator. But what would it sound like if we took our original Serum sound and then put it through the same process? Let's find out. Okay, so as a reminder, here's the sound we made earlier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce in place. So we have this. So then we have the audio. It's the one we made. And then once again, convert to new sampler track. Transient markers, sample, great. Right, I'm going to quickly cut to where I did the exact same process as I did on the other one. Okay, so with the same process applied to the VST as we did to the audio, it sounds like this. Which is really cool, so involved in the track. So I'm really enjoying that sound. I'm really happy with how this sounds. It already sounded really cool coming out of Serum, but once you put it through all of these effects as well, it's especially creative and really adds that little swing and touch to the tune that I think it needed. So that's all for today's tutorial on psychedelic glitch effects. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned something, and I look forward to seeing you soon. But until then, have a nice day.